Hey guys, good morning. Happy Friday the 4th of January, and I'm excited to share today's video with you guys because some days it's not all that gripping, even in my own mindset or opinion. But today I think it's going to be kind of a neat video, so I'm hoping that you guys enjoy it. A couple of things I want to talk about. First of all, I want to share a story which to me shows again how crazy our world has become. Two, kind of give you a quick update as to where I am, because a lot of you that do care about me and the journey and the message I'm sending are asking about, how I'm doing physically, knowing I'm going to the doctors, and that in fact is where I'm at right now. It's about 7:35 in the morning, and I've got an 8 a.m. appointment with the orthopedist to finally look at my knee. So that's the update on that. As I said, ironically, I went from walking like a cripple for the last several months to being in pain today, but the last several days the pain has subsided substantially. Swelling has gone down as well. It's still there, but we'll see. I'm sure they're going to do some imaging and take a look at it, and I'll keep you guys updated on that. But then I got a suggestion from somebody. I did the first live stream on Facebook I've done in a long time last night, showing you what it's like to come home every night to the when my kids aren't there, the dogs and how they react, and of course, to a lot of people, pets are like family. So um, while my live stream was on, somebody asked a question, hit me up later, and I thought it was valid, so I'll talk about that as well. Essentially, they were asking how the book is doing, and I've been kind of protective about sharing some of the stories with the book because I don't want to ruin it. But the reality is, I think I got 2,000 followers, probably, maybe I'm even being over ambitious. Maybe 500 people, are interested in the book when it comes out. I really think that it's going to be worth reading, and I'm hoping it sells 20, 50,000 copies, but I don't know that it will. I'm sure a lot of that has to do with marketing. So I guess the reality is those 500 people are going to buy the book regardless, and those are the folks listening. So if I share some of the stories in the book, or some things that I'll be talking about in the book, I'm not really ruining a whole lot. And that was a suggestion was, hey, tell us a little bit about what's going on, tell us some stories. And I think that's valid. So I'm going to do that as well. But so again, the first thing is in the next 20 minutes, I'll be walking into the orthopedist here to take a look at my knee and cross my fingers. Hopefully, I don't think there's anything structurally wrong. And my guess is something I damaged the meniscus. That's what limited knowledge I have of anything medical, but that's where I seem to feel the most pain. And I think there's certainly some arthritis in there, which is leading to the swelling. But I'll keep you updated on that. The second thing that I'll talk about today was something I think is so absurd and preposterous in our world. And so here's the story. There's a town in New Hampshire called Keene, New Hampshire, Keene. And most folks, most cities, towns these days, you have your restaurants. You have your what I call those strip mall restaurants, the pizzerias, the Italians, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Vietnamese, whatever it may be. Well, anyway, there's a restaurant opening up in Keene, New Hampshire, and they're a Vietnamese restaurant. So a lot of Vietnamese, I think it's pronounced pho, but it's Pho, pho. So the restaurant owners, and I'm sure this is not by accident, came up with what I think is one of the greatest names ever. They called their restaurant, or they're calling their restaurant, Pho Keen Great, which of course, if you say it fast, Pho Keen Great is pretty humorous. Well, of course, not everybody finds the humor that I find. So the town, the city, is trying to get the restaurant owner to change the name. And that's where I got to take exception and say, come on, guys, are you serious? It's hard enough to be a small business owner in America. To come up with a name like that is just brilliant to me. And if you don't like it, if it's so offensive, don't shop there. Don't partake in their food. Just drive on by. It's the same thing for years when I heard people screaming about Howard Stern back in the day. Now he's on America's Got Talent, not anymore, but he was on, and he's becoming culturally accepted. If you don't like what he has to say, if you don't like what Rush Limbaugh has to say, if you don't like what Fox News has to say, don't watch Fox News. If you don't like what CNN has to say, don't watch CNN. If you don't like Pho Keen Great Restaurant, don't go to Pho Keen Great Restaurant. But stop trying to shut people down and crusade and the whole. Can you believe that to me? And I'm sure some of you can. Some of you, I'm sure, differ in opinion, and that's okay. That's what this is about. But I say hats off to the restaurant owner, whoever came up with the name Pho Keen Great. It is just brilliant to me. And again, you've got people crusading to get them to change the name. Why? You know, because they thought of something that was cutting edge, that was playful, that was, and of course we've got people that are so incredibly offended by that. It's just bizarre to me. So I got a patch of hair that looks like a mole or something on my face with my little new mustache I'm growing. Anyway, so I wanted to get that out of there. So if you take a look at it, go look at the restaurant Fokeen Great, New Hampshire, and the fact that this restaurateur or family now have to go deal with the township trying to prevent them from opening after they've printed menus and signage and everything else. So, but enough about that. So let me share with you guys this morning while driving down here, I had about a 40-minute drive from work to the orthopedist. As I said, my mind works that I'm forever reliving memories in my life. Of course, the journey was a huge part of my life, and it's on my mind every day. There's always something that triggers it. So something happened today, and I wanted to share a story with you. People have asked me, about some of my better days, some of my tougher days. Well, I'm going to share a story with you, just kind of give you a little insight to one of the tougher days that I had on the journey. But the journey was spiritually enlightening to me. When you're out there walking, you have a lot of time to think. And this story here will definitely share with you a little bit of why do things happen the way they do. Some people, chalk it up to God. Some people chalk it up to fate and kismet and karma. Some people just chalk it up to there is no such thing as coincidence. It is what it is. You're free to think what you want. I know that I certainly had questions with myself. But the story goes, it was the end of week 2. And Jamie had come out. We had left Canton, Ohio. I had walked to a town in between. And we spent one of the journey friends had put me up at a hotel Saturday into Sunday. Sunday was going to be my rest day. As it turned out, this was my last rest day of the journey. In fact, this wasn't even a rest day on a Sunday. So Jamie had come out to spend some time with me Saturday night after I got into town. And we woke up. We went to a church in Worcester, Ohio. A great church, attended service. And after that, I started the journey again. And Jamie said goodbye to me. And it was really tough. First of all, I didn't depart until about noontime, which is about 5 hours after I left on most days. So I was already 5 hours behind the schedule. It was emotional because I realized that as Jamie was driving away, it was the last time for the next several months that I was going to see anybody familiar to me. The last time I was going to see a familiar face. And I'm already running out of time, so let me try to speed this up. So I started walking in Worcester, Ohio, heading to a town called Hayesville. And it was a Sunday in Middle America, usually a church-going day. And I jumped on or walked on. Lincoln Highway runs parallel to what there was 22, was like a highway. So I walked on the Lincoln Highway portion. I saw nobody for quite a while. And I said, well, let me jump on the bypass portion, Route 22. Surely there's got to be a mini mart, somewhere to get a drink. This was my first time, up until this point, every time I walked several miles, I'd run into something to get a drink, a beverage, something to eat. Well, I would have thought that this was going to be the whole way across the country. Not the case. So I'm walking, and I'm looking at my Google map on my phone, and every time I see an intersection and think there might be a gas station or mini mart, there's nothing. And late afternoon, 2, 3 o'clock, I had already depleted my supply of water and snacks and food that I was using for energy. And I was starting to struggle. And it was getting frustrating because I was looking at where the next stop was. And I was resting more frequently because I was beat. The heat was getting to me. It was a really tough day. So at some point, a woman called me off the highway and said, hey, whatever you need. And I didn't even know how she knew about me. She just saw me and waved me over. And she made me a bowl of stew that was on the stove. Her husband was doing the lawn, had like 40 cars on his lawn, on his property. And basically, I was hoping that maybe I could just stay in the garage or something. And she offered me shower in the house. And I said, well, before you do that, just please check with your husband. It's kind of, I literally only had seen her for 3 minutes. I don't think she'd heard of me on Facebook. I don't know why she was so generous, but she was. But her dog got lost. I went down to go take care of the dog. I was limping badly that day. And when I came back, she said, "Look, my husband doesn't want you to stay on the property. You're welcome to sit and rest and relax." Well, now the problem was I've got another hour, essentially 45 minutes, that I won't say wasted, but that I could have been walking. So as I'm progressing along, as I would get into town, I would do recon and see where might I sleep. So it was getting late in the day. It was a Sunday. I was in a very small town. The only place I saw that was open was a pizzeria about 2 miles off the highway. Well, when you're walking 20 miles, 2 miles, 4 miles round trip, don't seem like much in car, but by feet it's an awful lot. I was beat, and I decided, you know what? I made this turn, and there were these model homes there with beautifully manicured lawns, but you can't go there in the daytime. I started to walk to the pizza shop, and I was physically tired. I said, you know what? I'm going to lay down right here. There was one of those big electrical transformer power plants. I sat down behind it, and I just kind of laid down to try to relax and said, you know what? I'm just going to sleep outside tonight. Just going to sleep outside. I'm too physically tired. I may walk all the way up there and strike it anyway. They're closing at 9. It's already 7:30. Well, I laid down, and it didn't take me long for me to close my eyes for a power nap when I got awoken by, guess what, guys? Raindrops. So as I made the turn off the highway, I saw that I had it was still daylight out. I saw that I had the model homes, but I also saw this house that had like a three-sided garage that's filled with logs and firewood. In the dark, I said, maybe I could just sleep in there, grab a few hours sleep if worse came to worse. Well, when the rain started, I didn't have time to pack up my sleeping bag and roll it up. I just started carrying this big backpack and bag down towards the highway, and I saw that house. Well, now I'm hoping to go there, but it's still daylight. The dog starts barking. So I look up towards the driveway, because it was a country home. It was quite a ways off the road. And I see movement. And my fear is if I try to go crash inside this little garage, the homeowner comes out. Now I'm a vagrant. The police are called. Who knows what happens. So I opted not to chance that. I thought maybe for a split moment I can go talk to the homeowner, explain my situation. Might be a great story. But if they don't receive me very well and say, who's this stranger in town? Again, now they're notifying the police, and now what do I do? So in a split-second decision, I decided to bypass that home, and I said, let me go up to the model home. Maybe there's just an overhang. I could sit until the rain stops and figure this out. Well, as I got up to these model homes, there was no overhangs. Finally, the last one had a raised deck with these giant stones underneath, and it was on an incline, about a 45-degree incline. I was able to get underneath there and stay dry, because now the rain started coming down, torrential downpour, and it came for a couple of hours. Now it's about 10 o'clock at night, it's dark, and I'm wiped. And I said, you know what, guess what? This is going to be home tonight. So here, in the pouring rain, which finally stopped, with the spiders underneath this deck on a bed of giant rocks on a 45-degree incline, I tried to get some sleep and some rest. Clearly I didn't get much. I woke up the next day, and I had to still make up like 4 miles, because I was 4 miles short of my destination. And so I also want to be up and on the road before daybreak came. So about 4:30 in the morning, here I am, changing, trying to clean up with baby wipes I brought with me, things like that, and I hit the road. Not a lot of sleep, not a pleasant sleep, not a pleasant day. I was really sore and tired, and I started to walk in the dark. I didn't walk in the dark very often, but in this case I did, knowing that sunlight was going to come up in about an hour or so. Well, here I am in Ohio, walking on this side of the Route 22 highway, and I got about a 3.5-foot wide shoulder. And I'm walking in the dark, and in the dark, or what's supposed to happen is 18-wheelers go in the right lane, so they don't really see me. They're blowing on by. No worries. But inside of that, just past the road, we have the highway kind of dug out with those little notches called rumble strips. I don't know who, I don't know what destiny happened. I gotta be real quick now. But I heard an 18-wheeler come and hit those rumble strips, and instinctively I stepped off to the right to the grass. Within a split second, this 18-wheeler came rolling on by. I don't want to be too melodramatic and say, by inches. I couldn't tell you how far, but I can tell you that the draft was pulling me into the vehicle. Anyway, it blew by, and I never walked again at night for quite a while. I was shaken up. And again, what made that truck pull, just get drift over to the side at the very moment on this highway where I happened to be standing? I'll never know. But I made that, and the day continued. I got to wrap up. I love you guys. There's a little bit of a story. It'll be more detailed in the book. Have a great day.